Hello, hello, hello out there to all you beautiful Black podcasters. I am super excited to be here with y'all tonight, which y'all already know. I always get excited when I have an opportunity to see my family and to say, hey, how y'all doing? My name is Latrice Sampson Richards. I am the 2023 host of the Black Podcasting Awards. I'm also a podcast producer and award winning podcast producer.
That's
Okay,
right.
getting used to saying that, like that's is I'm still wrapping my head around that,
That's right. You better get that
Yeah,
right.
yes. And tonight I am joined by my friend
Ah,
and fellow award winning. You're not, well, you are a producer, but you like the big dog. You like way, way up there. You know what I'm saying? You like the
I don't know if I do
director
all
of
that.
podcasts for the Black Love, excuse me, for Black Love Inc., right? So the Black Love
Correct.
Podcast Network. Krystal Hill. Listen, if you don't know Krystal Hill, then you need to come up from under that rock that you've been under. Okay, because how could anybody not know Krystal Hill? Hey, friend, how are
Hey,
you?
I'm living the dream. I'm living the
Yes,
dream. Latrice,
yes, you are.
first off, I appreciate a good intro. I don't know if people be living under a rock if they don't know me. Maybe they just be living in better parts of the internet than I be living.
Yeah.
Just maybe they're hanging out in that nice part of the internet where it's just like otters and dog videos, because that part of the
No,
internet's great.
you are the nice part of the internet. You are. I listen, I follow you on Instagram, which you already know,
I do.
and I don't really be commenting on people's stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like every time you post something, I'm like, this is entirely too cute. Like you are just amazing. I love listen, Krystal is a good follow, y'all. She's at Krystal Plays Radio on Instagram. She's a
That's
good
true.
follow, so y'all need to go over there. She's very entertaining. I enjoy it.
Yeah, when I slide
Um,
in, I try to be. I'm not posting like at the points that people. You're not getting a 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 5 p.m. from Crystal. You're getting like
n-
a
yeah,
March and like a May. And
but when you post, it's like Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? It's
oh,
like
don't get I
Beyonce.
can
Like Beyonce don't be posting like that, but when she posts, she's saying something that you are interested in hearing. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm
it's
putting
it's
that on my
really good.
resume.
Yes,
Latrice Sampson Richard just compare me to Beyonce. Okay, I'm good. I don't care what you
yes.
say for the next 30 minutes. I'm taking that with me and leaving. Is that Scorpion? Hey, Scorpion.
Hey, Scorpion. Hey, Scorpion. So we are tonight talking about how to build an award-winning podcast network. And I felt like Krystal was the perfect person to have this conversation with because Krystal has indeed built an award-winning podcast network. And tonight we're going to talk about what she did to build that network, but like grounded in reality. So, like, if you are interested in starting a podcast network, chances are you have heard people talk about you got to do this and you got to do this and you got to make sure you do this part and that part. But they're not really talking about like the real of creating a award winning podcast network. And so that's the conversation that Krystal and I are going to have tonight. So we're going to enjoy this. Before we get started with that, I just want to make sure that y'all understand. And we're just talking about last year, right? So 2022 Black Podcasting Awards. The Black Love Podcast Network had shows nominated in 6 categories. 6 different, that's like a is that a third? That's like 20% of the categories y'all was nominated in. Y'all
That seems
had
about right.
8 nominations. Okay, which means in some at least 2 categories, y'all got more than one nomination.
Mhm.
So y'all competing against yourself.
Yeah, we do that sometimes.
Now that's a word. That's a word. And they came out of it with 3 wins. Yes, they won Best Education Podcast for Parenting for the Culture, Best Religion and Spirituality Podcast for Soul Affirmations with Kariga and Felicia. Shout out to Kariga and Felicia. We did the after show last year, and I just love them.
They're
And
great.
then they won Best Film and TV Podcast for Black Love, the interviews, which I will say for everyone, I think I feel like I'm speaking for everyone. That was freaking genius. Like
I wish
that
I could
was
say I had anything to
genius.
do with that, but no, that's I mean, it's smart, right? That's repurposing content 101.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, y'all have one of the things that I enjoy about the Black Love Podcast Network is that you all have a wide variety of shows,
Mhm.
right? But they all center around a central topic at their core, which is Black love. So, what ends up happening is that through the slate of shows that you offer, we get such a well-rounded view and understanding of what Black love is. And so talk to me a little bit about how you all choose what to air, like what shows, what topics, what perspectives you want to share through your platform.
Yeah, so when I first came on board in 2020, I think there was like an idea of who the first core shows were gonna be. Black
Mhm,
Love the Interviews was like the first show that was like 100%. We know this was a show that needed to happen, just because the content already existed. So it was
mhm,
just like, okay, we're gonna take this and do this with it. How it was gonna look, wasn't sure at the time. That was just like a development piece of like who can do what and who was available to do what at what time.
mhm.
Um, and from there, it was just like, well, we have these couples from the show, and we want to hear more from them. And,
Yes.
and those couples were Krieg and Felicia. Because I mean, if you just even talk to Krieg and Felicia, those, I mean, they're like, how have people not come up on Krieg and Felicia? And Melanie and Anthony Clark from the Amazing Clarks, who are like my favorite. I always, when people ask me to describe Melanie and Anthony, I'm always like, they're like your favorite new age auntie and uncle. Like when I'm trying
They
to
are.
explain them to people who ain't, I'm in LA. If people don't know, I'm in LA, and I'm a proud native Los Angeles person.
Mhm.
And so if y'all grow up, if y'all are from the East Coast or from the South, they are your new age auntie and uncle when I'm trying to explain the Clarks to people.
They
And
are.
yeah, and they're just like, these are people who are built for audio storytelling. And launching them out of the gate with my new BFF, with Cody, who is like a phenomenal interviewer. She's just
Mhm,
one of the best interviewers I've ever worked with.
mhm.
Um, and it was just like, well, let's do what makes sense for us. And that was it was an immediate slate, like 4 shows that make sense.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
and speaks to the mission of what Black love is. Because Black love is not just romantic love. I think it's so easy to get wrapped up in love being romantic love.
Mhm,
But love is love
mhm,
for community, love is love for siblinghood, love for in motherhood and fatherhood and parenthood. There are so many through lines in love that I think we forget about: love and grief, love and
mhm,
loss. Um, and yes, of course, we have romantic love, but even love for self.
mhm.
And we kind of wanted to make sure that we hit all of those points at the
Yeah,
jump. And we've
yeah.
slowly added since then. So we've added like Man to Man, which is our men's wellness series,
Love
uh,
it.
which is great. And then adding our parenting shows, Parenting for the Culture and The Mama's Dead, because they're just like, where are our Black parenting shows in this mix, and
Mhm,
where are we talking about motherhood?
mhm,
So kind of just finding the holes and making sure that we have the talent pool. And one of the great things that made my job easy is Cody and Tommy already had these people and know like who are the best fits for that.
mhm,
And then, my job is just to make sure that they know how to do the medium well.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, and you have cultivated a team that it seems really understands the vision and like really understands the mission, which I think is something that's so important. And I think it's a piece that a lot of people miss. Like podcasting is trendy, it's like it's the new thing to do and all of that. And it is very enjoyable. It's an enjoyable thing. I freaking love being a podcast producer and listening to podcasts and like just engulfing myself in the culture. But it's also, I think, to a lot of people, just another avenue to get rich quick. And they think, oh, I'm gonna just jump in there and I'm gonna start a network and I'm gonna do this. And they don't really understand how important it is for the work to be grounded in values, right? Like there has to be values of the organization, and everybody that engages the organization has to be in alignment with those values, because we hear it in the shows, we hear it in the content, we can feel it, we can feel when it's not genuine, we can feel when it's
Mhm.
a money grab, right? And so I think you have done a really good job of cultivating a team that has really bought into the mission and lived the mission themselves, and that's from, at the top, starting with yourself, all the way down, not even down, because I'm gonna say all the way out, because it's a lateral thing, right? To the talent and the people who are actually behind the microphones. Talk to us a little bit about, you know, what that process is like in terms of the individual people that you work with and the individual people that you choose to work with, from producers to, executive producers to editors or whatever it might be.
You ready for the long con, Latrice?
I am.
You ready for the long con? I am a team of me, and for the longest time, I had one producer with me. Her name was Masu. She had just left me. She works at America's Got Talent now. I'm so proud of her. So I just
Yes.
hired a new producer. His name is Mike, and I'm going to see him in a short time. But all these podcasts that you see are done with two people, me and one
Wow.
person. So I'd love to be like, yeah, let me tell you about my team of executive producers and editors and all these people. Uh, every show that you've heard has been edited by either me or the, one producer. For like the first year, it was just me. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I'm real good at my job, but
You you are. You are.
it's a long con. Um, and it's just worked for us. It's just what's worked for us. It's the system that's worked for me. Uh, and what we
Well,
do
it
here.
definitely has worked because,
Oh, I know.
like
You make
I
it
enjoy
sound
your
like it's like
content.
15 people, huh?
Well,
You're about to be
I
like,
thought it
yeah, there's
was.
all
I
these
thought it
people
was.
that you
I
work
know
with.
I'm not the only one. Y'all need to get up in the comments and let her know, because I know
Uh,
I'm not the only one, because the quality of the content is so high. And not that
well,
I
and
didn't think
that's a
you could create
testament
that, but
to, so that's a lot of that is a testament to the talent, right?
yeah.
Um, so it's a mix of they come in as being experts at what they do.
Mhm.
And where we come in as a producer is just like, one, we protect them. Like
Mhm.
that is like the core of our job is to protect them, and they have to trust us to protect their stories, because
Yes.
sometimes these are not just stories to a lot of them. These are like very personal experiences,
Yes.
and being able to know how to edit them and to release these stories in the order in which we release them, and knowing when not to release certain things that we've tracked, um,
Yes.
is has been what has cultivated a lot of that success for us,
Yeah.
um, and why we don't necessarily, or why we haven't necessarily needed, uh, or why it sounds bigger than it does. Let me
Yeah.
rephrase that before somebody says I don't need things. I need a million people. No,
Okay,
it's why
listen.
it sounds like we are bigger than we are. And thankfully, I at Black Love, we do have we have a really great graphics team and a really great video team that supports us on that end. But as
Mhm.
far as like the audio and the editing and the tracking and the producing and the show notes and the uploading, that's all me and one other person.
Wow. Well, bravo.
Well, thank
Bravo.
you. I
Like,
appreciate you.
yes, like for
We
real,
in these
because
streets.
y'all is out here, okay? Y'all out here in these streets. But what you're saying really kind of speaks to the importance of like building that trust within your network. Like you trust them to give you content that you can use, right? But
Mhm.
also to be themselves and to show up authentically. And they trust you to paint them in the best light and to make sure that the essence of who they are comes through in their work, right? And like it that trust is so extremely, extremely important. Um, I'm gonna switch gears just a little bit real quick.
Oh, I love a
So,
gear switch.
just
I love.
a
Oh,
little
where we
something,
going?
something.
You see me
Yes.
rocking in this chair. Let's go.
Listen, so one of the things that I think is important for us to talk about, especially as Black podcasters, is about, the that information gap that exists
Mhm.
between, you know, non-Black podcasters and Black podcasters. There's a lot of things that Black podcasters, opportunities and things of that nature that Black podcasters are just never really aware of, right? Until we are made aware by organizations like the Black Podcasting Awards, Black Podcasters Association, Afros and Audio, et cetera, right? But there's until they receive that information, they're missing out on opportunities that could help advance them, to advance their networks, to advance their careers, et cetera, et cetera. And so one of the things that I appreciate the most about the Black Podcasting Awards is that it creates an opportunity for Black podcasters to be recognized and to it for Black podcast listeners and connoisseurs to recognize the people and the shows that they love. Talk to me a little bit about the decision to like put yourself in the ring or like to apply for these awards, and like, was there ever any hesitation around that, or did you was like, yeah, we got this, we can win, like how did you come to the decision that you wanted to make sure that the work that you all are putting out into the world is recognized appropriately?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I should preface this that like Black Love is a media company, right? And so part of what comes with being a media company is submitting your content to win things.
Mhm.
It's part of the
Right.
game, y'all.
Right.
And submitting your content to win things costs money. Everything.
Mhm.
Like I think one of the common misconceptions that people have is that like you don't have to pay to submit your things to award shows.
Listen, I
Um,
didn't even know that you had to submit your things. Like,
yeah,
I thought for a
yeah.
long time that they just heard your stuff somewhere someday and fell in love with
And
it, and
it fell in
somebody
love.
just yeah, and somebody said, "You know what? She deserves an
She
award," you
deserves a
know?
trophy. You
Yes,
deserve a
like,
trophy.
I
Handing
didn't
out
even
trophies
know
like
that it was
Oprah.
you see what I'm you everybody gets a
Everybody gets a
trophy,
trophy.
okay? Like, I didn't even know that it was a process that you could engage in,
Yeah.
to point.
And I think that's kind of, again, when we're talking about an information gap, right? Uh, I think a lot of people don't even realize that, like, that's part of it, depending on how you're moving. That's part of
Mhm,
what you need to do, right? I
mhm,
like to I like to tell people like you don't have to podcast and move in that direction. You can podcast as a hobby. I love me some hobby podcasters. Ones
mhm.
look, hobbies are expensive, y'all. So don't come and complain when you're like, this costs a lot of money and I'm getting 15 listens. It's like, yeah, hobbies are expensive. I have some
Mhm.
expensive hobbies.
Mhm.
I know people with some expensive hobbies. Fishing can be an
Okay.
expensive hobby, but you might never catch a fish. Anyway,
Oh.
um, I'm just gonna throw that out there. But when it came to me submitting for awards, I always believe in our content.
Mhm,
Like if I don't believe in our content, then we're in trouble because
mhm,
I'm the person in charge of making sure that the content we're doing is good.
mhm.
So if I'm if I'm sitting here being like, I don't know, y'all, then I don't know what we're doing out here.
Yeah.
And I think a testament to to what we do is like I submit to a lot of awards and we have gotten there are times that we've never been nominated for things that I've submitted to.
Mhm.
I like if you know me, I like to call myself the Susan Lucci of awards because I get nominated for a lot of things that I don't win. Um, but part of what the awards do is bring that recognition, and for what we do as Black podcasters, even the recognition is important. And especially, I mean, y'all just heard how many people be working on these podcasts. When you have that opportunity to be like, yeah, we are nominated in this category with this podcast and their team of 30 people,
Yes.
um, it says something, and it says something to your talent when you can go, look, this is like yes, I'm editing this and I'm making sure it sounds great, but like this is y'all. Like this is y'all's
Mhm.
content. This is you putting your spirit into this, and something about what you said resonated with these people. I'm
Mhm.
making sure it's polished and sounds great, and I'm doing my job, which I'm getting
Mhm.
paid for, and I'm very good at what people pay me money to do.
Yes.
Like if you pay me money, you are gonna get quality work.
Yes.
Um, but what your stories are what people are connecting with, and
Mhm.
award programs are part of the game when you're in this space of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And to win is great, but to be nominated is also great. And
Yeah.
you have to go into it knowing that just because you don't get a nomination and just because you don't win doesn't mean you don't have good content.
Yes. I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly, and I think, you know, unfortunate well, I'm saying unfortunately, but maybe not even unfortunately, you know, a lot of people kind of struggle with imposter syndrome or insecurity or, you know, whatever doubt, self-doubt, whatever it is that you want to call it. And I myself struggle with that from time to time, you know, even being an award-winning podcast producer. Like there's moments where I'm like, you know, Lord, is this good enough? Like when we get a big deal, you know, with
Right.
a big organization or something, and this is the biggest deal that I ever been a part of. And I'm like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, can I deliver? Can I meet, you know, can I meet the expectation? So like everybody kind of deals with that. And I think some people use that as fuel to keep pushing and to keep moving and to keep striving to do better. I like to believe that I'm one of those people. But some people, and understandably so, become paralyzed by that. You know, they become paralyzed by the thought or the idea of not being good enough, right? And so to have the courage to like put yourself out there and to say, you know what, I think my shit is pretty good.
Mhm.
And you know, I think I want to at least give myself a shot. I think that's something that if you are starting a podcast network, if you had enough courage to start your own podcast network, then you definitely should have enough courage to put yourself out there and do what needs to be done in order to get recognized for the work that you're putting out there, you know. I want to get into a few of these comments real
That
quick because they rolling. I see you looking at them on the
I know,
pool.
because I see Lisa up in this
Yes,
chat.
hey Lisa. Lisa, that is the Lisa Wolfork, the host of the Stitch Please podcast, which I actually produce the live shows for. Lisa is an award nominated podcaster. Okay. And that win is coming real soon, Lisa. We
Oh,
claiming that in the
Lisa
name.
does great work.
In the name. Hi, Isaiah. Let's see. Scorpion said, talk that talk, Crystal. Lisa enjoyed, I'm real good at my job. She said you
Look,
spitting facts. Absolutely. Um, yes, they're lucky to have you, or they are lucky to have you, Crystal. They are
I'll
very
write that
lucky
on
to
my
have.
next review, Lisa. I'm gonna
Listen,
screenshot
L-
that one.
Lisa said, pretend you are a mediocre white man.
Yeah. I mean, look, for what they walk into a room and they think they're the best thing ever. So,
Listen, why not
I'll
put yourself out there?
and I
Why
think,
not?
even if you're in that space of fear and you're like, I don't think I am deserving of this, if you're in that space, then I think that you know that there are resources and more things that you need to learn.
Yeah.
And if you're not at the award space yet, then you might be in the community space. And it might be like, hey, let me reach out to some people and see if they'll take a listen to this and see if they'll
Mhm.
give me some notes back. Because if being in a space of like, I'm not good, but you're going to continue to do this thing is not beneficial, that's going to keep you kind of paralyzed in where you are. But
Yes.
if you know you're not good, because look, I know when I'm not good at something. I'm not a
Yes.
great video editor, but I don't like editing video. But I know where I could go if I wanted to.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you know you're like, I really want to be better at this thing, finding those communities and finding those people and reaching out to people, like I have yet to meet someone at various levels who will say like, "Nah, I ain't gonna help you."
Especially in the Black podcasting community.
That part. Like, I unless it's for time and they're like explicitly busy, usually they will say, "Hey, you know what? I can't help you right now, but I
Mhm.
know X, Y, and Z, and I know they will be more than happy to help you, or they'll refer you to a community that can help you." And
Yes.
I think like putting yourself out for awards it can be scary, especially if like you're the talent and you're self-producing. And so it's like you're hearing your voice, your edits, your music, your
Mhm.
creative direction. But part of the fun part is also kind of trying to understand where you fit into the grand scheme of it all.
Yeah.
And just because you don't win an award, I mean, awards are so subjective, y'all. Like, I can't stress this enough. I have submitted one show, the same episode, to like 4 different award platforms. It
Mhm.
got nominated in one platform, didn't get nominated in another platform, won in a different platform, and it's the exact same episode. And that just show it because it's people, y'all. Like it's being
Yes.
judged by people, and people are subjective. So it doesn't even like
Yes.
it's there's so much luck involved. It's not even just skill.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
I really want to emphasize like as much as you might have that self-doubt, you never know what that other person that's listening to whatever you're submitting is hearing.
And you never know how they connect to it because people
Mhm.
connect to different things in different ways, you know? So this year, the Black Podcasting Awards has added a new category, okay?
I love me some
We
new
have
categories. What you got?
Listen, we have
Tell me what you got.
added the Best Podcast Network category, and we're very excited about this because we believe in the importance of Black podcast networks and communities that spotlight and intentionally gather really good Black content. And we feel like people should be able to recognize the networks that they connect to. And so this year, the Best Black Podcast Network is actually going to be a public vote category, which is very exciting because it gives the networks an opportunity to engage with their communities, to
Mm,
engage with their audiences. You know what I'm saying?
you
And it
know,
kind of brings the listeners into the process.
yep, public votes always get me. The public vote, y'all. But it's great for the public. Public votes. But
But I do think that it's a
sometimes
good
it
opportunity.
hurts my spirit.
Well,
No,
it
I
yeah,
love getting people engaged. I absolutely look, I love me a public vote because it allows people who would not typically have the opportunity to win a certain award, the opportunity to engage their community. And I think engaging community is just as important as technical skills sometimes. Uh,
absolutely.
I just know we ain't great at it. So I'm just like, dang. But look, it's great for all y'all, though. See, that's why y'all need to enter because public votes exist and public votes are great for everyone except me. Uh, so this is me telling
Crystal,
y'all,
I if you were on a public vote, I would vote for you in a heartbeat, Crystal.
look,
If there was a public vote for favorite person in the world, you
I'm
would
voting
be
for
on
Anna
that list.
Deshawn.
You know what though? Can I vote more than once?
Nah, see, if there's a public vote between me and Anna Deshawn, I'm voting for Anna Deshawn. I'm like, dang, Anna Deshawn's on this vote. I'm voting for Anna Deshawn. See,
You're
that's how
right,
the
you're right.
I know,
The
because
shout
she's
out to
so
Anna
great.
Deshawn, shout out to
She's
E3
the
Radio
best.
and The Cube. Yes. Hey, Nicole.
Hey,
Um,
Nicole.
so Isaiah, we only have about 2 minutes left, so we're not going to go into that completely. Isaiah is asking, can you give tips on creating a reel? Because I don't know if to use certain clips of my episode. So we'll come back around to that, Isaiah. We're actually going to be doing a full live stream on creating reels. We're partnering with the Black Podcasters Association to make that happen. So as soon as we get a date locked in, which is actually my fault, I need to get the date locked in. But
Dang,
I'm
Latrice.
getting there. I'm getting there. Listen,
How did you not lock in that date, though?
I be moving and grooving. You know what I'm saying? I be moving and grooving. So, but as soon as we
Someone
get
send
the date
Latrice a
locked in,
Calendly.
you
Corey, send Latrice a Calendly so she can get this real date
Listen,
up.
Corey ain't the problem. He ain't the problem. It's me. It's me. I'm the problem. But I'm getting it together, y'all. But we're going to do an entire live stream on the topic of creating a reel. And so make sure you stay tuned for that because obviously you want to be there. Okay. And so as we wrap up, you all, I just want to encourage anyone out there that has a podcast network that is featuring Black content or creating content for the Black community, head over to the website blackpodawards.com. Go to the frequently asked questions drop down menu in the top right hand corner. And, scroll on down to Best Podcast Network. It's about halfway down the page. Hit that little accordion thing and read the requirements to apply for Best Podcast Network because it is your responsibility to make sure that you are taking care of your network and giving it the best opportunity to grow. And winning and a Black Podcasting Award is definitely a step in the right direction. Okay. It is definitely. Krystal, as we wrap up, do you want to, are there anything that you want to make sure that you communicate to anyone out there, either that has a Black podcast, a podcast network, is looking to start a podcast network, or looking to join a podcast network? Anything that you feel like they just need to take with them?
Oh man. In a wrap up, that's so many questions,
It
Latrice.
is. Just
In one,
give
give
me
it.
the
Uh,
top number
uh,
one. What's the
uh,
top
uh,
two? Top two.
the top podcasting is a scam. That's my number one. Um, no, anyone thinking about getting into podcasting, have have fun,
Hmm.
have fun, and stop doing it when it's not fun anymore.
Hmm. That's, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much. I think that pretty much sums it up
And
there.
podcasting is a scam. That part too. It's a whole scam. It's the best scam ever, though. We be scamming all y'all. We have the best jobs, like high key,
I
the
do
best
it
scam,
very high key.
right?
I enjoy it. I love
This is
this
the
shit.
best.
I
This
really
is the best
do.
thing ever.
I love it. I love
Best
podcasting.
community, best friends,
All of
best
that.
best conversation,
All of that. Best
whole scam,
entertainment.
best
All of that.
entertainment.
Yeah. Krystal, thank you so much for joining me
Thank you,
tonight.
Latrice.
I sure do appreciate you. And I am so proud of you. And I'm so
Oh, thank you.
proud of everything that you got going on, and the network that you're building and the content that you're producing. And just the fact that even with the accolades and even with, people looking at you with starry eyes, like, oh my
We'll
God,
be doing that.
there's
Tell them to knock it
Krystal.
off.
I be doing that. I be
Don't do
doing
that.
that. You
Stop
remember
that.
the first time I saw you, I was like, oh my God, it's her. She's
Tell people to
there.
stop being weird.
Listen, but I'm very, very proud of you, friend. And I'm
Thank you.
just so excited to see, how you continue to grow and how just we get to continue to benefit from all of your freaking awesomeness.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Don't nobody look at me
Yeah.
weird. Just talk to me. I'm like a
Yeah.
regular person with a dog. Her name's
Like,
Lemon.
and she's a cutie patootie.
Yeah.
Yes, she is. All right, y'all. That's all we have for y'all tonight. Once again, my name is Latrice Sampson Richards. I am the 2023 host of the Black Podcasting Awards.
Whoop, whoop.
You can follow me on Instagram at Latrice Sampson Richards. Of course, follow the Black Podcasting Awards at Black Pod Awards. And if you're on TikTok, jump on there as well. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure you comment hashtag replay so I could say, hey girl, hey, or whatever. I had a
Yeah.
hard time last week. I didn't get a chance to say my hays. So if you said hey,
We
then
need to
I
fix your
apologize.
calendar.
Listen, don't do me, Krystal. Don't do me. I got an assistant now, though. I got an
Oh,
assistant now.
hey, look at you
Yes.
moving on up.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
I
uh.
do what I can. I do what I can. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. We love y'all and we appreciate y'all. And until next time, be well. Bye.